Welcome. You have been designated for Oblivion.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Animator More, and today we've got the new start of this new series that we're doing, which is going to be a review series on different coasters and theme parks. So here I've got my Oblivion mug, and then I've got my own hand-drawn poster that I did, and I've also got a Wicker Man photo up top. So, as you guys will know, you've seen a little preview of the pre-show for Oblivion. It's not a random reason for that, but today I'm going to actually be doing the review on Oblivion at Alton Towers. It is my favourite coaster, but that might change, because I'm going on some different roller coasters when I go to, hopefully when I go to Alton Towers again. So, I'm going to be telling you about the facts and some history of Oblivion and how it all started off. And then I'm going to put down my personal review on it. So without any further ado, let's go. So, Oblivion is a steel roller coaster at Alton Towers in Staffordshire, and it's a dive coaster model. The first one from Bolliger and Mabillard, which are the manufacturers of the roller coaster, and it opened to the public 14th of March 1968. And was marketed the world's first vertical drop. We're going to get into some weird things about that later on, but let's carry on with some more facts. The maximum speed of the ride is actually 68 miles per hour, which is very, very fast, 109 kilometers. It is the third fastest roller coaster in the UK. Obviously, that's just behind Stealth at Thorpe Park and the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Throughout the 1997 season, the park's Fantasy World area was closed and every single ride was shut except for the Black Hole, which was a roller coaster right there. Details about Oblivion were not revealed until March 1998. The secret weapon for Codename was introduced after Nemesis's codename, Secret Weapon 3, which was one of the first roller coasters at the park, other than the corkscrew and all of those different rides. Oblivion's opening was had a lot of promotional merchandise and lots of memorabilia. It also Blue Peter, it was inside of that show, and there's some clips of that I might put on the screen of the Blue Peter show where they went on the ride, and they also sold cereal boxes and deodorant with Oblivion on. Oblivion was promoted. It wasn't like a whole cereal box for Oblivion. It promoted it in some of the ads. Excuse me. And also they had the deodorant, which was actually branded and Oblivion. It was the actual brand of the roller coaster. It was available to purchase at shops in the it was prior to when it opened, so it was probably about in the 1998 season, the 1998 year, where you could go and buy the Oblivion deodorants. You can probably get it somewhere right now from eBay or something, but who knows. The total cost to construct the ride, it was a very expensive £12 million that they used, it was estimated. So the park area containing Oblivion was redesigned from Fantasy World to X Sector, which it is today with the Smiler. The only surviving ride from like the area before the Fantasy World area was the Black Hole roller coaster, which was redesigned to suit the new theme. Alton Towers moved and rethemed 2 existing rides from other areas of the park to reopen with X Sector, such as Energizer and Enterprise. Oblivion's vertical drop, this is what we're going to get into now. It isn't a vertical drop, it's not a full vertical drop. It's actually less than 90 degrees at an 88.5 degrees angle. This is due though to the trains lacking sprung wheel assembles, because that's what some more modern coasters, vertical dive machines have now. They have the spring wheels, which means it's not uncomfortable to ride. So because the trains were lacking sprung wheels, it would mean that the transition from vertical to horizontal would be uncomfortable. It still is, because you can feel that force when you go down right at the bottom of the drop into the mist, right on your legs. Yeah, so for a brief period, like in April 2011, the ride was sponsored by the Fanta company, who also had put the Oblivion roller coaster into one of the adverts that they had for Fanta, which, seriously, Oblivion was getting a lot of promotion then. Yeah, so it was crazy. They showed that the brand was being sponsored there. However, a lot of the Fanta branding was removed only a few months following a lot of complaints about the obtrusive nature of the brand. It's in the 8th of May 2012, a 20-year-old man climbed over tall safety fencing and managed to access the underground ride area. He reportedly entered via the tunnel exit portal and walked underground, emerging on a ledge around the entrance portal. None of the guests or that man wasn't harmed that day. He was arrested though, and the ride turned to normal operation. So then, talking now, I'm going to talk about the design of the ride, the track layout, and then I'll move on to what I think of the ride personally. So first of all, the track layout is really simple. You start off on in the station, which is quite themed, and you're sitting there in your restraints, and you've got the belt on and the pre-shows playing above you. So then you start to move forward and go up the lift hill of the track. You then do a slight turn, curve around to the banking drop area, where you hung there for about 3 seconds at the most, and then you obviously drop into the mist and come out the other side into a banking turn to the right and hit the brakes. So the brakes, wow, it takes ages. You were stuck there for about 5 minutes, so it's probably like Oh yay, I've had such a fun day, such a fun ride on Oblivion. So exciting, and it's such a quick ride. Then you hit the brakes and go, oh my gosh, that was so good, the feeling of it. Then you go, I've run out what to say now, we've been sitting here for ages. But it is a very, very, very long brake run for a coaster that's that short. So the queue line spirals up like a giant hill and passes through different weird buildings. An unnamed man stood in the darkness. It was played by an actor, Rennie Krupinski, who is a stunt director for lots of television shows. So he's standing there in the darkness and breathes riders from overhead television screens in these very detailed videos. The strange figure explains about the physical and psychological effects of riding on Oblivion. Although that's not true really, it's just kind of to make you feel a bit nervous in the queue line. His little appearances very deliberately exaggerated with very dry humour. The third queue line video features an alter ego character who's glowing white and arguing with his alter ego as to whether Oblivion is truly safe for riders. The queue then splits and crosses through cage bridges in the station building. Here riders they are put into different rows and board the ride cars. Technical, like strange type of graphics are shown on your screen, on the screen as you're in your restraints, which is playing a final monologue up on dispatch. So yeah, it's a simple layout with 180 foot drop at 87 degrees. So that's basically the layout. And now for the end, I'm going to tell you my review on the ride. So the reason I love this ride so much is, even though it's quick, it's the wind, it's the adrenaline and the force for me. It's really fun, and the height and just hanging over the edge is so atmospheric, and it's amazing with the mist. I'm really happy the mist is back because it was taken a few years ago. It's beautiful at night time, especially on Scarefest days or Oktoberfest days, because there's orange lighting. And I think 2019 they actually used to have dancing skeletons at the bottom of the drop, so hologram projected, and you'd be able to drop and see them. Unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to do that because I couldn't go. So yes, now I'm gonna say a bit more why I like the ride. It's a very quick ride, but it's very fun, and I'd suggest anybody who loves these type of roller coasters to go on it. It could have a bit more to it, because it builds up the anticipation, then when it's done you're like, that wasn't very long. So maybe in the future I would really like to see them improve a bit of the track layout, kind of keep it not still loops, because I think if there's some younger riders who don't like inversions, especially you don't have lap bars, and that's a bit of difficult because you're just with the overhead restraints. So maybe just carry on the course with maybe a few more curves, a into the brake run just to make it a bit better. So I'd like to see that in the future. And yes, it's very, very fun ride, and I really, really, really like it. So then it has come to the end of today's review episode. I hope you enjoyed knowing about some of these facts, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the ride. And there'll be another one of these episodes coming out soon. And with that, bye from my studio, and see you in the next video.